in the College of Education, we consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to host our annual Distinguished Educator of the Year Awards. One of the greatest things about it is that we get to visit with our program graduates and to find out how their careers are progressing. Frequently, our alumni ask us about changes that we've made in the programs or in our facilities. This is our Student Services Center where our undergraduate teacher education majors come for advisement. They tell us they love coming here. They get lots of good information. They feel counseled and nurtured and very welcome here. And they tell us it's so convenient. Just as we've made numerous changes in our facilities, we've also made program changes. For example, at the request of our public school partners, we've added master's programs and doctoral programs. Additionally, we're offering more courses and programs online. Also, we're teaching more and more classes out on the public school campuses. The motto of the College of Education is today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We feel that the leaders we are honoring this evening are representatives of our many program graduates who are leaders in the schools and communities and who are making a positive impact. And now, let's meet the winners of the 2008 Distinguished Educator of the Year Awards.
Challenging untold dangers and peril, our cameras take you halfway around the world almost to bring you the story of the year, if not the story of a lifetime. We visit the headquarters of Aldine Independent School District to ask the hard questions and get the straight answers that you need to hear. Today on Face to Face.
Okay. Okay. This award is truly an honor to be selected by your peers for such a great accomplishment. It's very humbling. I am surrounded by leaders within my own district and within the state and federal national organizations that I work with on the boards. I'm surrounded by fantastic leaders, and to be selected by my peers to be the Distinguished Educator Administrator of the Year is an outstanding honor. And there's so many people to thank. I thank Sam Houston for my whole career, because I've gotten all my degrees at Sam Houston. The leadership at Aldine, the school board, everyone is very supportive. They encourage us to be actively involved in organizations and seek out leadership positions. And I've been fortunate from my childhood through now to always be involved in leadership opportunities. And so I hope to continue that. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't seek out this career. I've been guided to this career. So I don't know what my future holds, but I'm enjoying every step of the way, and I am very appreciative of all the people that have helped me become what I've become.
She's got humor. She's got a lot of humor and everything, and it's always within its place. There's a time for this, there's a time for that, but she always finds time to make things very workable for me and likable. When I find a situation that's going to be what I think is going to be tense, she eases it and makes me know it's okay, and we move on and we learn.
I would say that Jamie has somewhat of a dry sense of humor. She's extremely intelligent, and every once in a while, because of this dry sense of, she'll say something that I'm not expecting, so I don't get it right away. But then I'll come back and she'll explain it to me. then I'll see how incredibly funny it is.
I was in Austin just yesterday and got back this morning before work. And the first question when I told folks that I was affiliated in some form or fashion with Aldine, even though I work in Klein, the first person they said, "Do you know Jamie Bryson?" I was in Lubbock recruiting a couple of months ago. Same thing happened. Bryson is known throughout for her contributions to finances in terms of public education.
I wouldn't say that I chose this field. I think it chose me. I think there was a lot of divine intervention. When I started out, when I went to Sam Houston for my bachelor's degree, I was majoring in dance. And from there, I thought, well, when I get older, what am I going to do with a dance degree? And and now I'm older, and I guess I could still be dancing, but I really thought I need to choose a career that I could do for a long time. And at that time, I was very active in art and writing poetry. So I changed my major to creative writing. And so one of my instructors asked me if I had ever considered going into education, because in class discussions, I was able to explain things to my peers when they were struggling with the concept. And I really had never considered it. So I enrolled in Sam Houston's educational program, and that led me here to Aldine. And I was a third grade teacher. And so I went back to Sam Houston. I got my master's degree, and I served as the elementary and intermediate mathematics program director for a few years. And in doing that, I really got to broaden my understanding of curriculum instruction and assessment. And I had an opportunity then to meet with campus administrators across the district, and we would go over test data and identify gaps in learning, and we would set goals for the next year of what we would accomplish. And at one of those meetings is when I met Dr. Keith Clark.
Basically, she does whatever it takes to help the kids of Aldine. She works hard. She makes sure that the money that the dollars that are granted to us are spent appropriately, and it goes to the kids. She's very picky about making sure that the money is not wasted or spent on things that don't directly impact instruction, impact students.
So Jamie is sort of like the guardian angel of the money to be sure that it goes to the kids and it's used in the right way. Jamie is very articulate in what she shares, what she explains. She's very deliberate in her actions. She is very detailed-oriented, organized. And in spite of all those very left brain characteristics of Jamie, she's also a very kind and loving and helpful person.
Everything that she does with the finances at Aldine, when that data goes to the state or the federal government, the first thing you hear from the exchequer is, this is a first-class job. That's the type of individual she is.
Within the Federal, State, and Special Programs Department, we do manage over $80 million a year, and that brings great responsibility. And our role is to serve as a gatekeeper. We are responsible for making sure that the rules are followed, that we're in compliance, because if you're not in compliance, when you go through your audits, the funds will be taken away or you have to pay back the money, and no one wants that to happen.
A very good team member. She works, well with everybody else. Everybody who works for her, they're very loyal to her because she treats them so well and she cares about them.
Again, I think it's so important to empower people. When you are, just as when you're teaching a lesson, you're going to understand the concept even better. And so when you are involved in developing a program or developing a tool, you have that buy-in, and the information sinks in better, and you are able to carry out your job duties better. And so I work the same way with my staff by empowering them to do their jobs.
Jamie really works with all the principals, all the directors, assistant superintendents, area superintendents. She works with everyone, and I don't think everyone realizes that as well.
She's able to get people to go past what just normally they would. She's able to push them and encourage them and, kind of boost them up in ways that if they were just left on their own, they wouldn't achieve as much.
And she finds time to balance family, her daughter, her husband, her friends, her work, and she does it very well. I think she's also, she does also teach at the college. And so, to be able to balance all that, I'm just in awe sometimes of how well she balances her time. She may say she doesn't, but she does balance her time very well and provides, equal Jamie time for everybody, especially me, because I've got to have Jamie time.
And over the years, I learned that I had a knack for organizing information. And, if someone's having trouble with a concept, I can take the information, break it into pieces, help them understand, and organize all those thoughts together. And so I became very analytical, and it served me well. And as I work with the leaders at the campuses and across the district, I'm able to bring together that knowledge base of curriculum instruction, assessment, and finance, and all the special revenue programs. And so I'm able to work well and help those people that haven't had that opportunity to work in another area understand where the other group of people are coming from. And so it brings it all together, and it's a good working situation.
I've taught all kinds of kids from every kind of background, and there's one thing that's always the same between all of them. They want somebody to believe in them, and they want somebody to get down in there and figure out what makes them tick, and that's what I do. And that's what motivates me.
Ms. Kirby's one of those teachers that, as an administrator, you wish you could clone and spread around your campus, because she brings such enthusiasm and love of the subject that she teaches, and she has such a love for the children that she teaches.
When I met Shannon, I was one of the statistics, or about ready to become a statistic, of new teachers who were ready to quit. I was disenchanted with the field. I couldn't believe how difficult it was to teach, how few tools teachers actually have, and I was coming from a different state.
She really understands that in order to reach a child, you have to first connect with their heart before you connect with their mind.
The minute I saw Shannon, it was like a breath of fresh air. She teaches from the heart. She teaches all kids. Her scores are phenomenal across the board.
And she goes in above and beyond every day. I can put any child in her classroom, and I know that they will be accepted and that they will be successful.
I wanted to become a teacher because it's a story that dates back to my high school year. I did not come from a family of any teachers at all. And I had put off taking PE till my senior year in high school. So I was the only senior in there with a bunch of freshmen, and there was this one girl in there that she wasn't popular and nobody wanted to pick her for their teams, but I was always nice to her.
Whether it's students that come from a vast variety of backgrounds, different age levels, different ability levels, she teaches them all. She's just fantastic.
And at the end of the school year, she wrote me this really long letter about how nice I was and thank you for believing in me and giving me a chance. And she gave me the prettiest little locket, and I still have that locket today. And so she was one of the ones that actually motivated me to get into something where I wanted to help people.
I was kind of a secluded teacher. I like to close my door and get the kids involved in a novel. And so I taught next to Miss Kirby's my first year. And all of a sudden, I was reading a novel and I had the kids all involved, and all of a sudden my door swung open and she started screaming in a high-pitched scream, and and I was like, what in the world? And so she'd close the door, and the next day she'd do the same thing. And it totally threw me off balance all the time, where I would hear, or something like that.
Then I had a language teacher in high school, and she was like, you would make a fantastic teacher. And so I went home and told my mom, and my mom was like, teachers don't make any money.
And then the next day, I was up teaching away, and my door flung open, and a clipboard flew across the room. And I thought one of the kids did it. And I was like, who threw that clipboard? Who threw the clipboard? And they're like, well, I didn't throw the clipboard. I didn't throw the clipboard. And so the next day, the door flung open again, and here goes the clipboard again all the way across the room. And I was like, who threw the clipboard? And they were like, Miss Kirby. So, and now anytime something strange happens in class, all the kids, I don't even have to say anything. They just go, Kirby.
They know she means business, and she is so nice about it and so giving and kind that they know that they're safe in her classroom. They can learn even under the most difficult circumstances or difficult subjects, and that she's going to be there to support them and protect them and to make sure that they do learn whatever it is that they need to learn.
And so I just had to totally revamp my way of teaching. I had to realize that, you know, it's about being fun and spontaneous moments. So it's a lot of fun working with Miss Kirby. So my first 2 years of college, I went to Brazosport, and I actually had a job pinned down at Dow, and I was going to be a lab tech there. And my mom was like, you know, are you sure that this is what you want to do the rest of your life? And I told her, no, actually I want to go to college and be a teacher. And she was like, okay. So when she knew that I was serious about it, she supported me 100%. My parents both did. So that's how I got into it.
Miss Kirby can bring any teaching method into the classroom you can imagine. One of the first personas I met was Fred, Bubba Fred. He was part of a Bubba group that enacted various concepts of learning, whether it was science or math or English. And all the teachers would dress with blue jeans and bad teeth and weird hair and you name it, and come up with skits and different activities to get the students interested in learning, and as well as doing a fun type of learning.
We came up with the family of Bubbas, and there was actually 4 of us that started out together. So they're hillbillies. We wear crazy clothes. We black our teeth out with modeling clay. We put freckles all over our face. We have crazy hats. And the Bubbas come in and we do videos to motivate the kids.
But the actors were all the teachers involved.
It's kind of like a review of all the stuff that we've learned throughout the school year. And sometimes I actually do come to school dressed as Bubba and say that I'm Miss Kirby's substitute, just to kind of give it a change.
Just like her bathroom that has the class's instruction on the walls, because that way they can read what the instruction is when they're going to the bathroom, Shannon will do whatever it takes to get the concept and the learning across that needs to be taught.
She really gets into science. She makes, like some teachers make it boring, but she makes it fun.
We do this big wrap where we all dress up in our big chains and wrap clothes and turn our hats backwards and put on big glasses. And at the end of the year, we make up a big wrap, kind of like what we do with Bubba's, that review all the science concepts for the school year.
It was funny. It was funny. Only she could have came up with that.
It's fun, and the kids love it.
She's a really good teacher, and she teaches us a lot, and we learn a lot in her class.
There's so many teachers that are so deserving of an award like this. I'm incredibly honored to be standing here today.
Okay, well these are pictures of all my children and my family. And then this is a poem that was written for me several years ago by my husband, and it's called This Teacher the Best. Here's to the teacher who works all her days with kids who are different, who don't always get A's. Here's to the teacher who always can hum, no matter how different the beat of the drum. Here's to the teacher who believes in the kid, who everyone else thinks looks like a squid. So what is her secret? What's the mystique? How can she work with kids this unique? She is the teacher who works without rest, whose love for these kids will bring out their best.
Her students love her. You know, we have a lot of good teachers here, and students have certain teachers that they want to be in their classroom, but kids are really, really happy when they find out that they have Mrs. McGee. It is just one of those classrooms that kids want to be in. There's something about her, it's that abstract quality that she has, but all kids they gravitate to her.
Miss McGee is a fun teacher. She makes everything easy. Well, last year I used to have a lot of problems with math, but when I came to Miss McGee's class, she explained everything to me, and I just got it.
She allows for student individuality, and so she makes that where they feel special about themselves, and she can make anybody feel good about themselves. She looks for a child's strengths and does not focus on their weaknesses. And she thinks that by building up those strengths that they'll get better at math, and it's proven.
Dinah's just a great teacher. I think her strength, she makes relationships with the kiddos, and she has a heart for what she does. She has many years of experience. She has not lost that love. She has not lost that excitement, and she has a heart for all kids. But I think really what makes her special is she has a heart for the underdog. That she will not write a kiddo off. She is going to do everything she can to make sure that all her students succeed.
Well, she is a teacher that she explains things very well, and that's probably what makes her one of the best math teachers.
As long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a teacher. Didn't want to be a math teacher, but I've always wanted to be a teacher. And when I started looking at colleges, I'm from Beaumont, and there is a local college there, and my parents were kind of wanting me to stay at home. I'm the oldest. And I was okay with that, but my counselor said, why don't you look at some of these places? And so I looked at Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, and I fell in love with Old Main when I went there. And so I went to Sam Houston State and was going to education classes, and in one of my early math classes, they kind of pulled a few of us aside and said, hey, you show a strong tendency to doing well teaching math. I'm like, not so much. I wasn't a strong math student in school. I worked hard, but it doesn't come to me naturally. And they talked me into it, and I love it. I could not imagine doing anything else. I have a master's degree. There are other things I could do, but I love the classroom. It's where I feel I do the most. It's where I impact the most students, where I can touch them, hopefully in a way that will encourage them to go on.
Miss McGee has the kind of personality that is warm. She is always smiling, and yet she is always professional. And I think when you have a kindness about you and the kids know you care, and then you've set these very high expectations, they want to meet them. And so that's a part that really works with the kids.
Dinah is a woman that if you need to get something done, she's your go-to person. She mathematically just knows it all. But where her real strength is God's given her a gift for reaching kids that other teachers can't reach.
But the teachers take their lead from Dinah. Dinah sets the tone. Dinah sets the bar, and the other teachers set out to match that.
She's a great teacher who makes math a whole lot of fun. Like before, I didn't really like math, and I didn't really know much about it. And she really just brought it all to me, like the Wheel of Fortune game right there behind you. And we'd play games like that, and like we'd do our homework and then play the game to check our answers, kind of.
By 6th grade, kids have had a lot of different experiences. Some of them are very positive, but a lot of them are not. I teach math, and for whatever reason, a lot of students struggle in math. It's hard for them. They don't understand. They are lost, and it's a stressful environment for them. So I try to have humor that's positive, and I try to have like this center where if it's like, okay, I'm maxed out, where they can go and just kind of regroup and then come back and join us. I do have the animals in the room because I feel that sometimes being able to hold that hamster is enough that they can keep going.
It makes math a little more enjoyable because you always think, oh, if I finish and I get all the answers correct, I could probably play with the animals, and it's really fun.
Some kids need that tactile touch, and with the world we live in now, you can't give hugs, you can't, you may get away with patting them on the back sometimes, so it's better to keep your hands to yourself. But allowing them to hold a hamster, we also have guinea pigs, they're just not here this week. Allowing them to do that is a calming thing for them. It also is a privilege that they've earned. They don't get to hold them randomly. It's like, okay, you got your homework in? Super. Why don't you go get a hamster and sit down in the back for a little while? So it's a way to reinforce positive behaviors. It's a way to let them get affection from something and not be threatened by it.
She feels great. She loves teaching. She loves like working with kids and making learning fun.
I would like to thank my parents. They've always been there for me. They encourage me, they support me. And then my husband is my #1 fan. He has had to go through a lot with me, and he's always stepped up. He's written a poem for me that says, "This teacher the best," and I keep it over there. And he talks about in the poem about how I do reach out for those that everybody else is like, they're the bad kid, they're hard to work with, I don't want to deal with that. And those 3 people are part of what motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing, that they are willing to say, hey, you are doing the right thing, keep going. So I would like to tell them thank you.
I want to be a teacher, just like my mom.
Something I like about her is she's very imaginative. She has these great pictures on the walls that represents Harris Academy. She's a great citizen.
When it's Monday, I feel excited because I know I'm going to the library. So at 10 o'clock, I'm ready to go to the library.
If she can't find a book for someone, at the first try, she'll keep on trying until she finds it.
I like the scary stuff and like fairy tales and scary stuff for me.
Science and technology, computers, chemicals, germs, and insects.
I like to read about our past and everything, like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and all that.
I love science books too. They're one of my favorite subjects, other than math in the classroom.
I like to read books that entertain me.
One way she gets them involved in reading is that she's always putting forth a challenge. She likes to do a lot of shout outs, and the kids of course love to hear their names or love to hear their classes announced over the loudspeaker, and of course all of us are giving them big hoorahs when we see them in the hallway.
I'm into children. I think that they need to be treated with the respect that I'd want my own child to be treated with. There's always routine, there are procedures and everything, but as long as you do it with dignity, it's not going to be an issue.
They love to come in because they know that she's going to read a story, and then she's going to help them to find the books that they can read. She knows the children. She pretty much knows all the children in the school. She knows what they're good at. She knows what they're not so good at. So she knows their strengths and their weaknesses, and she can help to guide them in choosing the correct book.
I have a flexible library, so I'll have everything going on from checkout over here to research over there to I'll have teachers just drop in and they'll take a corner because they need to pull a book and do a lesson really quickly. And so I just try to work really hard to make sure it's an open door.
Dixie is jovial. She's always willing to help, very, very approachable. Okay, and I know that for a lot of the teachers on the campus, they go to her. If there's an issue, they run to Dixie, sort of like she's their mentor and almost like their mom.
I wanted to be a teacher since I was in 2nd grade. I can remember a 2nd grade teacher I had, and every time I looked at her, she had a smile for me, and I thought, that's what I want to do. And I love children, and that's seen in anything that I do. So I felt that if there was anything I could do to make their life a little better world, or if there was anything I could do to make their education sound, then that was something that I wanted to do.
You can see Dixie when you're going into the library, she's sitting in her rocker with her book. I remember the time that she dressed as Mother Goose, sitting in her rocker reading to the children. She coordinates our spelling bee for our campus, so she's very, very much involved with them. There you can see her in the library, so helping children select books. She's just very involved.
I work closely with the faculty. I think it's a good relationship. I work hard to service their needs at the same time as I take care of the children, because if the teachers haven't bought into the program, the children will not get the opportunity to use it. I network constantly, and I'm always looking out for their needs.
If you need something, all you have to do is go to Dixie or pick up the phone and call her and say, hey, Dixie, I'm going to be doing a lesson on such and such. I'm on top of it. 10 minutes later, she'll come traipsing down with a cart full of stuff for you. So if she'll even go on to Try-In to see what we're teaching in the classrooms, and she'll just start pulling up stuff, and she'll say, hey, I know you all hadn't come to this yet, but I've gathered all these things, so come on down and get it.
She usually helps me start my day by helping me get certain materials that I need ready for my small groups or the teachers that are under me.
She's a teacher. She's a counselor to the children and adults. I've seen Dixie go into her own pocket just to do things for children on the campus.
Well, reading is an absolute passion of mine, and I wanted to be able to pass that passion on to the children. And also I wanted to find a way to make not just reading, but their library experience to be a very positive one, and to truly establish that lifelong learning and knowing that the library was a place that they could go to and feel comfortable in. As a teacher, it was one of my favorite places for my children, and as a child, it was my favorite place to go to. So it was, I never even considered any other field. It was just the library.
And I feel like I can just sit down on the carpet and read all I want.
We all love the library.
Claudine Simpson, pediatric teacher, the Children's Cancer Hospital at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center.
I think that Claudine's unique in the sense that she has the abilities to see people for who they are, and she sees the real person. She sees the goodness in people, and not just the kids. I mean, she really sees the goodness in the family unit as a whole, and she really advocates to spread that to other employees and other students, and she never complains. She never sees the negative side of anything, and she is one of our stable forces. I mean, she is like the grounding force here, and I think everybody would say that, from family members to kids to staff, and she's calming. I mean, you can't help but be energized and calm at the same time that you're with her. She just has this unique ability to do that.
Fadila is so special. She and I came to the hospital at the same time, and we call her Pink Fadila because she won't wear any other color but pink. And she is a very determined, very smart young lady. We call her the Princess of Pediatrics. And if you sneeze, Fadila will come and give you a mask and some gloves, because she knows other people's illness will make her very sick and put her back in the hospital. And Fadila will not have that, not Mrs. Princess Fadila. And Armani, oh my gosh. Armani is the ever-ready bunny. She is one kid that does not stop. She's precious as well as the others, but she's just a ball of energy. And she's really going through some hurdles right now, but I even told her to not come up today to speak or come to class. And she says, oh no, Miss Simpson, I'll be there, whatever you want, I'll be there. And she's at a point where she can't even walk, and she's here. She is a ball of life, and that's why I come every day. Yusuf is a character. Yusuf is unbelievable, a genius of a kid. He's made history here at MD Anderson with his leg. He has a titanium pole in his leg. And he's another one, whatever obstacle is in his way, he's going to jump over it. And Nick is new to the department. Nick comes from Greece, and he brings his culture to us as well. And I started this book club, and his mom came up to me about 2 weeks ago. She says, my child never read before. And she says, now we can't stop him from reading. And she says he's just latching on to anything he wants to read now. And of course, he falls in line with the rest of them. Bring it on. We're gonna tackle this. Crystal is unique. Crystal has come from odds that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe Crystal 6 months ago. It's unbelievable that she's even on this floor, was even able to talk to you, to talk to anyone. It's unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
She just kind of made it a little easier for everybody to move from school to school. Because she tries to help get people being your friend and everything, so you're not so lonely. And I just feel better about myself and everything that's going on.
This is not just a school here at MD Anderson. It's different. It's a unique population that we're working with, and it's a very special population. Claudine not only teaches the kids and tries to create normalcy by having things that the kids would normally have if they were going to a school outside the hospital, but there's that added her ability to connect with families and to provide emotional support, much more than you would have to if you worked in a regular school setting.
And our school program is very special in that way because when kids come to us and they've had prior school experience, they know all about the classroom. They know what it's like to have a teacher and to have friends. And so I think that when they walk through the doors of the classroom, they feel so comforted because there's smiling faces to greet them. They get to learn new and exciting things. They get to master new challenges, which gives them self-esteem. And Dr. Simpson is a very important part of our school program.
Well, we call her Miss Claudine. The kids call her Miss Claudine, but Dr. Simpson has one of the most amazing personalities when it comes to teaching children, especially here at the Children's Cancer Hospital. She is a very gentle spirit, and when she's around the kids, she just ignites like fire, and there's just this light that shines through her, and it energizes the kids, and they just are drawn to her, and they love her, and it just goes beyond teaching.
Here at MD Anderson, we have a group of people that are really strong and that are here because they're supposed to be here, and that they have something to offer that maybe other people could not offer, and could not, maybe other people could not function in this environment. But she is one of those people that has it. I don't know what it is, but she has exactly what is needed here.
I knew that I was ready for a change, and I Googled education on the internet one day looking for another job, and this was the first job that came up, and it was the only job that came up, and I said, I will get this job. This is where I'm supposed to be. And sure enough, I got this job.
One of the things I've been most impressed with her over the years is how cheerful and inviting she is. And I think all the children, when they walk through the door, their hearts just lift because she's so positive and she has such a big smile, and she's very expressive in the way that she invites them in and encourages them to be a part of the group. And I think that they feel like they belong. And I think that for the time that they're in the classroom and working with her and playing with her, they put their thoughts about, or even worries about treatment aside, and they just enjoy going about the business of being children.
Yeah, we're doing everything: math, history, geography. Now we're doing about the president.
Also, every Tuesday, she takes us to the library, like it's a little library across the hall, and we have a book every month. And everybody reads it. And then at the end of the month, we discuss it.
She helps me with the math that I don't understand.
I I feel like I've been a teacher all my life. Even when I was a little girl, I was teaching my dolls, teaching the neighbors, and I've always taught. And maybe not with books, but just even elderly people, when I would just hang around them and show them different things, or people who had special needs I would come across, I would just love to help them. And I knew that this was my gift, to teach.
She is very loved. I think what I appreciate most about Claudine is that she doesn't let any barriers get in the way when she's trying to relate with the kids, whether it be a physical disability or a language barrier that I think sometimes teachers will kind of shy away from that child if they're a little bit difficult in that way. But she really goes out of her way if she needs to learn a few words in a different language in order to kind of build rapport with that child. She'll do that. If she needs to call PT or OT to figure out how she can get a child from the room to her classroom, she'll do that. You know, she always kind of goes the extra step and doesn't leave a child out. So that's what I appreciate most. But I think that's her gift, that she works really hard to kind of have that personal relationship with each child.
She's excited when she comes in, and she is able to make the kids laugh and have fun and get in and be excited about learning. She is flexible because in the hospital you have to be, and can go and work with a patient who at the bedside who may be in the process of dying, and then maybe 2 hours later come into the classroom and be excited and encouraging to patients who may be newly diagnosed or who may be pretty much towards the end of their treatment. So being able to go in the same day and see so many different things and still have that enthusiasm is something that I really think is a wonderful asset and a wonderful quality in Claudine.
And but she loves kids, so this is the perfect job for her. And as you can see, she got the teacher award for a perfect reason. So I congratulate her a million times, and go Dr. Simpson.
The PD Dome is one of the greatest spots here on the pediatric floor. All the students come here, even the babies. We have all types of celebrations, cultural celebrations, birthday parties, Christmas parties, 4th of July parties, you name any celebration, and we are celebrating it here, right here in the PD Dome.
I just want to say congratulations. I think this is one of the biggest honors that you could receive, and it's so humbling, especially as a teacher, because I don't think a lot of people realize the kind of work and dedication that goes into teaching and the hard labor and the emotional toil it takes on you, especially in this environment.
We're so proud of you, and we're just so excited that you're part of our team. I know that there have been really difficult times and we've had a lot of changes in our staff and everything, but I'm so glad you kind of hung in there, and we're just so proud of you.
Congratulations.
I would like to thank my husband. My husband is such a great husband and father, and such a good support. Without him, I'm not sure where I would be at this time. He's just a great, great guy, and I love him so much. And my parents, who have been my cheerleaders from day one, they are awesome, as well as my siblings, Adrian and Honore, just great, great siblings to have. I'm really grateful for Dr. Askins bringing me into the department and supporting my appointment here. And now we have Carla Hart as well, and she's the new director, and she is wonderful. And Utisha Lumpkin, co-worker in the Child Life Department, and she's phenomenal. You should see her. She's phenomenal with the kids, and I want to thank her for nominating me. So thank you, everyone.